All right, so welcome back. This is part 2 of the Food Allergies and Intolerances Masterclass, and my name is Dr. Beata. If you haven't seen the first part, go ahead and click the link below. Make sure you watch the first part where we explain what food allergies are, the different kinds, we look at signs and symptoms, and we go in depth on the multiple different categories. The 3 that I focus on are IgE-mediated allergies, non-IgE-mediated allergies, and food intolerances. So make sure you go back and watch that one as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dive deep into the 6 pillars of the Radiant Health Protocol. And this is where the healing happens. These are the underlying root causes of food allergies and intolerances and any other health conditions. So the first one I want to present is holistic nutrition and nourishment, because with food allergies and intolerances, food is the focus. The first part is identifying the foods that are creating the reactions. What is it that our body is not able to digest? What is the immune system reacting to? Okay, so we need to identify those foods. We need to remove those foods and all exposure. And again, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes that is in personal products. Sometimes that is in trace amounts and cross-contamination. So we need to be able to work through that. And that's what I'm here for. And inflammation and activation of the immune system happens when we have this exposure. So when we have this exposure, it is literally activating our immune system even further, making us more likely to have more food allergies, more inflammation, more signs and symptoms or conditions show up in different ways. And again, I am here to help you figure this out, to work through the process and at the same time not make your life more stressful than it needs to be. So I also have an elimination tracker that has ways that you can start tracking your food to start identifying what it is that can be causing a reaction for you, especially if you have those non-IgE-mediated allergies that are a little bit more difficult to figure out and a little bit more tricky. And then again, I'm here for one-on-one guidance and support as well. Because when I first started on this journey, I jumped into a major elimination diet. And again, with breastfeeding, that adds another component to the complexity of it. And now, after looking back, there are ways to do it differently. We don't need to deprive ourselves more than we need to. And we also need to focus on nourishment. So when I work with clients, we make sure that we identify those triggers and we remove them. And at the same time, how do we focus on what it is that we're actually eating? How do we ensure that you're getting the proper nourishment for your body to function, even with limited ingredients? Because I want to remind you that myself and my daughter, we have been some of the most sensitive ones that I've come across and our practitioners before came across. We were down to a 2-food elimination diet at one point. So we have done it. And through that process, I've learned how to nourish our bodies effectively and optimally, even with limited ingredients. I work with that very sensitive population and I can help. And again, the next pieces are how do we optimize digestion for absorption and utilization of these vitamins and minerals? Because we can be eating all of these amazing things, but if we're not able to digest them, then they're not going to do us any good. And again, how are we preparing and cooking our food? This is something that most people don't think about, but it matters. It can improve our digestion and the nourishment that we're able to use. So when we work together, I work with you to create a nourishing plan so that you feel confident knowing what to eat and how to manage social situations, going out, etc. You get a custom guidance for you and your situation. And again, if it's a baby that you're watching this masterclass for, the breastfeeding mother's diet or formula that they're having is important to be able to recognize what's happening, how to modify it, when to change things. How to wean baby to solids is really important as well, because some children do start showing signs of food allergies through breast milk or formula, and others don't. But if they do start showing signs, we need to be able to support them and have a plan for how to introduce them to solids. And again, comment solids because I have a resource specifically for that, just for the general population as well. And again, we identify food allergies with various methods, which we'll go into later in the decoding the body section. and we decrease inflammation. We allow healing to occur. I focus on whole foods as much as possible. Food is so powerful in healing when we know how to use it. And when I work with clients, we look at different ways to trial, unique tracking methods without becoming obsessive, how and when to trial, and how to reintroduce foods, when to reintroduce foods. All of this requires unique and customized solutions. And then again, an oral food challenge is really the gold standard and the only way to know if a food is creating a reaction or not. So we look at oral food challenges with the IgE allergies. Like I mentioned earlier, you need to be working with an allergist to do in-office trials and challenges with medical supervision. And I still can guide you on that process as well. And especially for those with intolerances and non-IgE allergies, we do our trials and challenges at home for the most part. And especially, again, if there's no signs of medical emergency or hypovolemic shock, I guide you through that process, how to do it safely, how to do it, again, effectively, and how to sometimes get food in your child or your baby if they don't want to eat it as well. I have lots of tips for that. So what if I could teach you how to use real food to support your body, your child's body, for optimal health? Not supplements, not medication, just supporting your body with its innate wisdom and the nourishment that we provide it. How would that feel? How would it feel to have confidence and calm and clarity, knowing what to eliminate, what to add into your diet, and how to proceed and move forward? How would that change your life? And what would become possible for you? What would become possible for you instead of hours online researching or waiting weeks for appointments? What if we knew how to also nourish our body with movement? Movement is really crucial on any healing journey, and even with food allergies. Nature exposure, healthy, supportive, nourishing movement. Those are things we work with as well. And again, for adults, caregivers of little ones who with food allergies, we need to look at how we're nourishing our mind with the thoughts that we think, what we focus on, how we speak to ourselves, what beliefs are we holding on to, and more. How are we nourishing our souls? Are we expressing our creativity? Are we connecting with our higher power, with the divine? What state are we in the majority of the time? Is it stress and anger and frustration, anxiety or fear? Or are we experiencing grace and forgiveness and gratitude and compassion and flow and ease and love on a regular basis? We need to be aware of our environment, how that's affecting us, our relationships, our family dynamics, our business or our career. All of these add to our holistic nourishment. And our babies and kids can feel our energy. They know when we're stressed, when we're not being present with them. And this increases the states of dysregulation within them as well. And as moms and dads and caregivers, we get the opportunity to heal right alongside with our child. How we are nourishing ourselves is just as important, and it doesn't take a lot of time. I use quick strategies that even as a sleep-deprived, busy mom working in and out of the home, and now a single mom business owner, I've been able to incorporate, and you learn how to incorporate them into your daily experience without it being an extra thing to check off your list. It becomes your identity and it becomes your being. This transforms you. This transforms your family and it transforms your life. This goes way beyond health. And this root cause is crucial for food allergies. Have you only been focusing on food so far? And that's okay if you have, because that is the focus for the majority of us. So one quick food focus tip that I want to give you is to take a look at the food that you are eating, and especially the processed foods. So anything in a bag, a can, a box, and just flip it over and look at the actual ingredients. It doesn't matter what the front may say, right? And so again, for allergies, we may be looking for dairy-free foods or gluten-free foods or whatever it may be. And what is the product actually made of? Because many processed foods are fortified. They have chemicals, they have additives, they have preservatives, all things that actually increase the inflammation in our body and increase the toxic load in our body. So I, again, like to go with whole foods, organic food, high quality animal products, nourishing foods, instead of the packaged stuff. Now, are there some snacks that we have that are packaged? Yes, but when I recommend these, they are the highest quality ones that I've been able to find, because we need to make sure that we're not actually working against ourselves with nourishment by increasing our toxic load with these preservatives and additives and chemicals and fortified foods. Our body's not able to actually absorb them. And I talk more about this in the Holistic Nutrition and Nourishment Masterclass specifically. So again, make sure that you put series in the comments to get that link to sign up for the full the full series. So this may be new for some of you, and that's okay. Put a 1 in the comments if that's new for you, looking at food this way and recognizing how much of an impact food has on our nourishment. Again, we're all in different phases of our journey, and where it's perfect, divinely perfect, exactly where we are. So again, put series in the comments if this is an area that's alive for you and you recognize that you need to work on this and you need some support on this. And again, I'll send you the masterclass link. The series is absolutely free. And then there are those of you who are ready to experience nourishment on all levels, who are ready to get to the root causes and address them of food allergies and intolerances, who are ready to heal and get resolution of signs and symptoms. Click below for the special full month support package that's 89% off of the regular price, and get customized solutions for your food allergy and intolerance journey today. So the second pillar that we're going to go into now is integrative detoxification. This is not a one-off detox or a cleanse. That's not what we're talking about. We're discovering how to work with our body as our ally, how to open our innate detox pathways, how to support our detox organs, and how to understand the interplay with emotions and energetics and the nervous system on a holistic mind, body, and soul approach and levels. So when we think of food allergies, right, we have, that is a sign that our body's communicating with us that something is out of alignment. Our immune system is hyperactive. It is being easily triggered. That means that we have a high toxic load. That means that more than likely our detox pathways are congested. When we talk about detox pathways, there's multiple of them. We talk about our colon, our liver and gallbladder, our lungs, our skin, our lymphatics. One tip that I can give you right now is that you need to be pooping daily, having a full bowel movement every day. If you're not, that means that detox pathway is clogged, and therefore toxins are not able to leave. So what that does is those toxins are recirculating. They get literally reabsorbed through that wall, the intestinal wall, into your bloodstream, and they are increasing the inflammation in your body, making your immune system more reactive, making you more susceptible to be even more sensitive and have more food allergies. So we need to be having a full bowel movement daily, and that includes babies and children as well. Now, when you think about toxins in our environment, in our modern lives, they are all around us. The average person is exposed to 700 toxic chemicals on a daily basis. So let's be aware and have agency and empowerment over what we can change. Let's look at our personal products that we use in the morning. What are some changes that we can make? What are some replacements that we can use? These are all things that I coach on depending, again, on your specific needs. And again, toxin exposure, I don't want to scare you because our body, again, has these natural innate detoxification pathways, and it knows how to do this. Our body's made to detoxify. Let's just support it. Let's look also at our environment. at how many non-organic foods are we eating, because glyphosate or Roundup exposure affects our gut health significantly. It creates leaky gut and it increases the toxic load that literally creates havoc throughout our body. And then not only does our body have to fight that off, it also has to work hard to detoxify it. Another toxin that many don't think of is actually vaccination. So with vaccines, there is toxic load. They have heavy metals in them. They have different toxins and chemicals and preservatives. This can activate the immune system and it can limit our detox pathways. So some families that I've worked with, and many actually, have seen an increase in allergies or a beginning of their allergy journey after vaccination. So again, this is such an important piece that you need support and guidance on if this resonates with you, if you identify with this. Next is, again, medications. Whenever we use a medication, that actually has chemicals, preservatives in there as well. I don't prescribe medication. That's why those who do need an EpiPen need to work with an allergist. And when we look at the root causes, no matter what the symptoms are, no matter if it is IgE, non-IgE, or food intolerances, right? And no matter if it's presenting as digestive or skin or respiratory or swelling or cardiovascular or even shock or anaphylaxis, a holistic and natural approach will address the root causes and ultimately reverse symptoms. Because again, medications have a toxic load with them, supplements do too. This is something that many don't recognize, but just because something is a supplement does not mean it is clean. Many of the supplements that I get requested to participate in their program or whatnot, I look at and I don't, because there are so many chemicals and additives and preservatives in the ingredients. It can be a toxic load. And that's why I work with whole food as much as possible. Occasionally, is there a supplement or two that I recommend depending on the situation? Yes. And it's not something that I want you to take forever, because we work with your body to no longer need it. And at the same time, any supplement that I recommend is going to be the highest quality, the cleanest that I have come across and that I've been able to find. So this is so important to me, because when we work together, you don't have hundreds of dollars of supplements to buy each month. And I also did a whole video explaining this downfall of supplements that many don't know of. So put supplements in the comments and I'll get you that video specifically. And again, does this make sense? So when we hold on to toxins, when we have an excess amount of toxins in our body and we're not able to detoxify them, it increases the inflammation throughout our body. We become more reactive with the immune system, which turns out into more food allergies, more sensitivity. Put a 1 in the comments if that makes sense. So in the Radiant Health and Wellness Live program, we have 8 different modules and pathways that we work with. Some of those, again, like I mentioned, are the colon, the liver and gallbladder, the lungs, the skin, the lymphatic system. We need to make sure that all of those are working optimally for detoxification and for health and resolution of signs and symptoms. Now, some people talk about parasites and heavy metals and candida. Yes, those are things that we absolutely need to pay attention to. And doing a harsh parasite cleanse or a heavy metal cleanse without doing the proper work beforehand is actually going to be more detrimental for you. Because when we support our detoxification pathways, when we work on gut health and holistic nutrition and all of the other components, our body is actually able to detoxify these naturally. And especially with sensitive little ones, we don't want to put them on these harsh protocols. Their little bodies cannot handle it. So have you ever experienced this where you've gone on a detox and then you've actually felt worse? The reason why is because your detoxification pathways were not open. So when you do one of these harsh cleanses or, parasite cleanse or candida cleanse or heavy metal chelation, let's say, for example, if you don't know how to support your body optimally so that those heavy metals make it all the way out your body and get eliminated, if you don't do that, then what they do is they literally are now in circulation. Your body works really hard to contain them. And now you're exposing them. You're letting them work around and move through your body. And they're actually going to create more inflammation. They're going to create more damage and harm that way. So with detoxification, I use a very different approach. We need to support your body well. We need to make sure all the functions are working. And then we work through some of the more serious detoxification protocols. We need to prepare your body for it. That is so important, and something that most people don't talk about, especially the people that are selling the detox pills or the detox spray or whatever it may be. So detoxification is a crucial root cause for how reactive our immune system is, how congested or clogged up our detoxification pathways are. And at the same time, let's talk about emotions and energies. When we have stagnant energy or trapped emotion, when we have frequency that is not aligned, when we have negative energies in our homes and within our fields, that is going to manifest into physical stagnation and physical blocks. And when we carry limiting beliefs around and old wounds and traumas that need to heal and need to be integrated, we need to be paying attention to that too, and how it's showing up in our physical body and the physical signs and symptoms that we have. It's not just about the physical body. We need to look at our environment, our relationships, our career, and our business. Sometimes we need to detoxify certain aspects or things of that. When I work with you, we work on physical, emotional, mental, energetic, spiritual levels. Detox on all levels. And one of the ways that I bring this to many of you is the Holistic Detox Mini Retreat. We just had one last week. Comment retreat if you'd like to learn more about that. That's where we go in depth on this process, and we start to really bring consciousness to what is no longer in alignment with us, what is no longer for us, and how do we lovingly let it go and release. So again, if detoxification is something that you're recognizing you haven't done much with on your journey, you need support with, put series in the comments and I'll get you the full masterclass series. It's free, and you'll get that video on holistic detoxification and integrative detoxification, so you can start using it today and start transforming your health today. And if you're ready to go deep, support your detoxification, get to the root causes of your signs and symptoms, your food allergies, your food intolerances, you're ready to heal and reverse your presentation, go ahead, click below, get 89% off of a full month of support, and put Radiant in the comments as well, and I'll give you the information for that. And I also just want to pause and speak to the practitioners that are watching this as well, or people who want to become practitioners. We've only gone through 2 pillars, and can you feel how transformative they are already? If this is something that you want to get certified in, if as a practitioner you want this mentorship and this continued education and experience in, put practitioner in the comments and I'll get you information about the mentorship. And in the masterclass series, there are videos that are specifically for practitioners as well. So make sure you sign up there. All right, we're going now to the 3rd pillar, comprehensive gut health and healing. Gut health affects everything. This is the cornerstone of our health. It is a mechanism of action and a huge root cause for food allergies and intolerances. Hippocrates said that all disease begins in the gut. This is ancient wisdom that has proven to be true, and it does affect every process in the body. When we talk about the gut, I talk about a condition called leaky gut, that if you have food allergies or intolerances, you also have leaky gut. And many other health conditions, the root cause is leaky gut. What this is that when we have our gut wall, there's a lining, and there are small spaces in that lining where as food gets digested, as it gets into our digestive system, there's bacteria, there's viruses, parasites, all sorts of things in there. When those spaces are normal, when they're appropriate, then those particles of digested food pass through into our bloodstream, into our lymphatics, and they circulate through our body and get used through our body. However, when we have leaky gut, what happens is that lining loses its integrity. The spaces now become larger, and now things get into our bloodstream and lymphatics that shouldn't be there in the first place. So one, with digestion, if our digestion isn't optimal, then particles and complexes of food that are too big are getting into our bloodstream and lymphatics that have been not digested properly. Those cause inflammation and reactivity in the immune system, which creates food allergies. We talked about food intolerances, how the lack of enzymes doesn't allow you to digest well. So if that's happening, guess what kind of food particles are ending up for absorption? Ones that are too big. And like I mentioned, when those spaces are too big, now bacteria, viruses, parasites, toxins, chemicals are now entering our bloodstream and lymphatic system for circulation. This is how the immune system gets triggered. This is how we get overreactive. This is things like when I talked about MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome. This is what's happening. We need to look at leaky gut, because when that food particle comes into the bloodstream, inflammation is created and it triggers an immune response. So when I work with clients, we look at digestion, right? How do we optimize our digestion? All the steps of the digestion process. How do we break down food particles? And then we look at our gut microbiome, which is a collection of trillions of cells. And I'm sorry, not even cells, they're microorganisms. So there are bacteria, they are viruses, there are fungi, there are parasites, there are yeasts, and probably many others that we haven't even discovered yet. All of this works in symbiosis. What that means is when it's in harmony, everything has its place and everything functions well and works well. The problem is when something becomes overgrown. So have you ever heard of a candida overgrowth, right? Or parasite overgrowth if we have parasite issues. It means that that becomes out of alignment from that natural balance and harmony based on what's happening in our body, our toxicity levels, our nourishment, our gut health. And when that microbiome shifts, then it creates more loss of integrity of that gut wall. This affects everything. So way beyond digestion. This affects our mental clarity. This affects our emotional states. This affects our energy levels. This affects our connection to the divine and spirituality. This affects our skin. This affects absolutely everything. And so a question I often get is, do probiotics help? My answer is sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Just probiotics alone are not enough for gut health. This is not going to heal a leaky gut. It is not going to rebalance your microbiome just by taking a probiotic. It's a good step, but that's not all there is to it. We need to go beyond supplements or probiotics when we look at gut health. We need to nurture our gut microbiome with real whole food. We need to heal and seal the gut wall. We need to support optimal digestion. This is a cornerstone of health. And our gut is literally a pharmacy that creates and secretes hormones. It affects our metabolism. It affects our immunity. It affects our inflammation levels. Like I mentioned, it affects our mental and emotional states. And then there's the gut-brain axis. So this is via the vagus nerve, and it affects our mental and emotional health. So oftentimes with food allergies or intolerances, there are related mental health conditions, such as sensory processing disorder, autism, ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, schizophrenia. There are multiple conditions that are associated with food allergies and vice versa. Those that have these mental health conditions are often present with food allergies and intolerances. It is one in the same. Gut health is just one component, but when you combine it with all of the pillars of the Radiant Health Protocol and you work holistically, the transformation is remarkable. And then we look at the energies and the emotions that are associated with certain pathogen overgrowth. So a candida overgrowth is going to have an emotion related to it, an energy, a frequency related to that, a geometry related to that, compared to a parasite overgrowth. Healing leaky gut and optimizing the microbiome and optimizing digestion is crucial and a vital piece of your journey with food allergies and intolerances and healing them. Taking supplements and medication long-term is not going to do that. It's not going to get to the root causes. And at the same time, using fiber or celery juicing to have bowel movements, those are not addressing the root causes either. We need to address the toxin load. We need to heal leaky gut. We need to optimize our digestion. We need to nourish ourselves holistically. We don't want to look at temporary fixes and Band-Aid solutions. We need to focus on root causes. And some contributing factors to this, the gut health, are also antibiotics. So some of us, there are places where you do need to take antibiotics. And oftentimes, they're not necessarily needed. So limit your antibiotic use to only when it is absolutely necessary. Antibiotics destroy gut health. They destroy that balance and harmony. They allow opportunistic bacteria and yeasts to overgrow much faster. So when you do need to take antibiotics, we can work together to support your gut health during the course of antibiotics and after. And ideally, we can work to avoid them in the first place. We need to rebuild our gut health for 3 months after every single antibiotic exposure. So again, when I work with clients, I create specific custom protocols for their phase of their journey, whether you're just starting out with gut health, whether you just got off a round of antibiotics, or whether you've been eating clean and working on certain aspects of gut health yourself with probiotics and other things. So again, put series in the comments if gut health is an area that you need to focus on. I'll send you the link for the whole masterclass series, and you'll get the specific gut health masterclass in there as well. And if you're ready to experience optimal digestion, reap all the benefits of healing your gut, and get to the root causes of food allergies and intolerances for healing and resolution, click below for the special full month of support package at 89% off right now, and get custom solutions to activate your radiant health, wellness, and vitality. Fourth pillar that we're going over today is nervous system regulation. When we're in a stressed or worried state, our nervous system shifts and we cannot heal. Physiologically, it's not possible. Same thing when our babies or children are in distress. When we're in this state, we're in fight or flight. We're in survival mode. When we're stuck there, we can't move into rest and digest mode. Healing cannot occur. Regular body processes don't function, including digestion, detoxification, metabolism, hormone production, etc. It throws everything off. And what happens is we may be eating all of this wonderful organic food. We may be taking supplements. We may be even doing yoga classes and meditating. But if we're in fight or flight the majority of the time, all of that isn't doing you any good. Your body's not able to utilize the goodness, and your body can't receive it. It can't access its innate wisdom, heal, and maintain health. Remember what we said about optimal digestion? The nervous system affects that. It affects enzyme production. It affects enzyme secretion. It affects stomach acid levels. It affects our gut health. Nervous system regulation is crucial to all of our physiologic processes, in addition to our emotional and mental states. We need to shift out of fight or flight and into rest and digest as often as possible, and help our children as well on this healing journey. The vagus nerve and vagal tone is a huge aspect of this and is how gut health interplays directly with our nervous system. So the vagus nerve is a wandering nerve, and it's a cranial nerve, so it starts at the top and it goes to all of our organs and directly into our gut. So the information that it's getting from there, it's sending back up and it's affecting our emotional and mental states. Again, that gut-brain axis. So for many conditions, this is a huge root cause, because when we're in fight or flight, our body is sensing that we are not safe. There is a feeling of unsafety. And this emotion is the underlying root cause for food allergies, for food intolerances, for anything where our immune system is hyper-reactive. As adults, all of us have experienced some level of childhood wounds or traumas. For some, it may have been something small. For some, it may have been big, like abuse or neglect. And even when I say small, I mean that in a very validating sense, because something quote unquote small can have a huge impact on us. And this is something that I've gone through personally. And as someone who coaches parents, this is where I see such a profound effect in learning this as a parent, because now you can parent your children differently so that they don't have these experiences as well. Because when we experience these things that are traumatic, they are wounds, they literally rewire our nervous system to be more prone to fight or flight. And this continues throughout our lives into adulthood. So therefore, it makes us more prone and likely to have medical conditions. This is an epidemic that no one is talking about, because it doesn't just show up as food allergies. It shows up as heart disease. It shows up as cancer. It shows up as diabetes. It shows up as a whole list of things, hypertension, etc. And this is not just me saying this. And autoimmunity is another big one I forgot to mention in that list. This is not just me saying this. This is supported by research, by a study called the ACEs study by Kaiser Permanente. What they did is they surveyed, I forget how many people, but it was thousands of people, and got their responses based on how many of these traumatic events have you experienced in your life. And I just realized that my microphone was down there. So you'll be able to hear me much better now. So with this study, they then correlated over years the medical conditions and presentations that these people have had. And when you sign up for the full masterclass series, you'll get a specific resource that will help you assess your own ACEs score and start, again, putting the dots together, understanding your journey. This is the underlying root cause that shifts everything when we address it. And again, make sure you sign up for the full masterclass series. Put series in the comments. If this is resonating with you, if you haven't thought of this before and you need support with this, the free masterclass series has a whole video just on this. And I often get asked, well, what if it's a baby? Are they just, how does their nervous system get dysregulated? So even babies can have experiences like a birth trauma. They can have experiences in the womb. They experience the stress and the emotions that the mom is feeling during pregnancy and before. And there's, again, I mentioned epigenetics earlier. So we can have trauma passed down through generations through epigenetics and our energetic blueprints from our ancestors and from generations before. So these energies and emotions of our ancestors can be coded into a baby. And I work with parents to help regulate their little ones. And there are techniques that I teach that you can use to regulate yourself and then co-regulate with your child and to regulate them directly. This is something that no one talks about in the food allergy world, and it makes such a huge difference. This was when our personal journey, everything changed. When we regulate our nervous system, inflammation goes down, our digestion improves, our hormone balance improves, our immunity improves, our mental and emotional states improve. It is all related. So again, put series in the comments for the full free masterclass series and get the specific training on nervous system regulation and the resource for the ACEs study. And if you're ready to experience nervous system regulation finally, if you're ready to address the root causes of food allergies and intolerances, heal and resolve signs and symptoms, click below, get 89% off for a limited time of the full month of support with a consultation, resources, custom solutions for your journey. Okay, we're on to pillar number 5, emotional energetics and spiritual alignment. So I want to give some examples because they are so profound and it's going to help you understand this pillar. So just the other day, we were having a call in our live program, and participants and members were sharing about apologizing that they were crying during the session. And I shared something that I found from my childhood, where I was proud that I did not cry for 2 years as a child. Now, this was from conditioning. This was from my upbringing, where I was constantly told that it wasn't okay to cry. And this person was apologizing as an adult for crying in a space where it was okay to cry. There's lots of tears that end up happening during the emotional healing process. It's cathartic, and it's important to be able to cry when you need to and to release. But as children, if we internalize, if we learn that it's not okay to cry, that it's not okay to express our emotions, that we're only quote unquote good when we're happy, when we're compliant, when we do as we're told, we begin to internalize our emotional experience, and the energies of those emotions live within us today. We trap those emotions in our body. And the emotions and energies of those emotions manifest as physical disease. They create blocks of energy and stagnant energy. And when we look at our lifespan, if we started as children who were taught that it was not okay to cry, how many years have we been suppressing and repressing our emotions? How many years of trapped emotions live within us? This is an opportunity for you to bring that to consciousness and to allow yourself and give yourself permission to feel and process and integrate those emotions. I do this in a safe space. I'm a trauma-informed practitioner. So you don't have to be re-traumatized. We don't have to go back and re-experience things. And for radiant health and wellness, we need to process those emotions that are living within us and that have been trapped there for way too long. Because over and over again, I work with clients who have had decades of digestive challenges, autoimmunity, food allergies, and we start working through the emotions and the energies, and they literally feel a change in their body. They see a change in their body, in their physiology. As we integrate, they feel a distinct release. Symptoms improve. Sometimes this takes multiple sessions, different techniques. Sometimes it happens very quickly and profoundly. But the energies and emotions living in the body are one of the root causes of food allergies and intolerances. That's why the presentation is different in each person and to different degrees. Depends what we've experienced and how we've internalized it. And there are techniques that I teach you and you can use for your children and your babies as well. And I teach you how to teach your children. That's where we make the greatest impact. That's how we transform generations. And we gain this understanding that emotions can manifest in physical and mental conditions. And by integrating and processing the energies of these emotions, we are freed up for optimal health, vitality, and well-being, for radiance. The emotions and the frequencies of those emotions, when they become trapped in our body, create stagnation, pain, symptoms, profound mental and emotional effects, and they are the underlying root cause of our presentation. And again, how do we get these trapped emotions? With that nervous system regulation component, this is where it all integrates. When we get unsafety passed down through our generations, through our epigenetics, through our energetic blueprints from our ancestors, the energies and the emotions of that experience, it lives within us. So how many of our ancestors have been involved in a war, have been discriminated against, have had horrific things happen to them or seen horrific things? That lives within us even now. And we have agency because we can work with that and we can integrate it and we can release it lovingly. This is again where that holistic detox piece integrates in. It's all connected. It's all quantum. It's all one big giant web. And we have to work with all of these pillars in conjunction to get results, to get change. And again, babies, they pick up on our energies, our emotions. If there's conflict in the home, if the mom is holding resentment or anger or anxiety or sadness. And there are various strategies that as caregivers, we can use to move this energy and integrate it even for our babies and our little ones. So again, for adults, we may be thinking, well, no, I didn't really experience any trauma. And, I say childhood, but we can experience traumas and wounds through our teenage years, through adulthood as well. But maybe you're sitting here like, no, I've had a pretty good life. Like there wasn't really anything that traumatic that happened. Sometimes we experience things as children and we're not able to process the strong and emotionally extremely scary emotions that came up because it feels like a threat to our survival when we're little. This goes into attachment even, the reliance on our parents and caregivers. So as children, we may actually disassociate. We may suppress and repress certain experiences that we had because they were too painful. We may downplay something. And that's why sometimes many of us don't even remember these things. But when these emotions are not processed fully, they become stuck in our field. And again, children, even babies, are very intuitive and they can pick up on this and they can hold on to them. They can hold on to our energies and emotions. And again, this happens beyond childhood and teenage years and adult years. So just think back to how often you were told not to cry as a child, that it's not okay to be angry. You're ashamed when you're experiencing big emotions. When we experience and learn this as a child, we have the propensity to continue this through adulthood. And we literally collect these trapped emotions daily. And not to mention those of us that are sensitive and empathic, we can take on others' emotions as well as our own. So these emotions and frequencies and energies can be stored in various areas or organs. And again, this becomes the blocks, this becomes the stagnation, this becomes the physical manifestation of signs and symptoms and diagnoses like food allergies and intolerances. When we identify the emotions, where they're held, what needs to be released, we see significant and easeful shifts in our physical state, our health, our wellness, and our well-being. And these can be shown and reflected in many ways. So in different areas of our lives, in our relationships, in our business, in our career, in our family, in our fertility, and again, in health. This pillar of the protocol is so powerful and unique because we also partner with the divine, your higher power, your spiritual connection, your higher self, whatever word you use. We access wisdom and discover how to nurture this relationship with the divine. There are multiple ways that we do this, and some include divine muscle testing, which is an advanced form of kinesiology. We use intuitive eating. We learn to ground ourselves in trust and faith, and know deep within us that in one way or another, this experience is for us, that everything is working out for us. This is all happening for us. This is an example of how I integrate the Eastern and Western approaches, alternative practices for a truly holistic and integrative experience, because we need spiritual alignment for our physical health as well. And when we don't have this alignment and we're not working with our emotions and our energies, they become the root cause of our signs and symptoms. And when we see that energy and frequency really is the root cause of every single condition or symptom that we may have, we become empowered to work with them and not be as afraid of them. And I'm here to help you along that way. We don't have to dive in faster than you feel ready to, because I know for some of you, I know when I first started doing this, it was terrifying, long, long ago. So the way I do this is gentle. I pay attention to your needs, what you're ready for. And we proceed in a way that feels good to you, because again, I am a trauma-informed practitioner. So again, if this aspect of emotional energetics and spiritual alignment is an area where you just got a light bulb moment, because it made such a huge shift in my personal health journey, my daughters, and so many clients, put series in the comments and I'll send you the link again for the full masterclass series, and you'll get the bonus trainings and resources as well. So if you are ready to explore emotional energetics, the underlying root causes of food allergies and intolerances, click below for that special month of support package that's 89% off for a limited time. You get custom solutions for your journey to address your root causes in a way that is in alignment with you and working with your body. And for practitioners, I want to check in with you as well. Is this an area that you may not have been aware of? I know myself, years ago when I was working in the clinic, I did not know this connection at all. And I missed this part in many of the patients that I was working with in the clinic. And now I can see why certain patients didn't make improvement. I can see what was missing. And I want you to know that as a practitioner, if there are clients that are coming to mind for you, that they're like, you're recognizing that they need this, that this is the answer for them, put practitioner in the comments and I'll send you the information about the mentorship. Together, we can make such a profound impact on the world. So the last pillar that we're going to go over is number 6, decoding your body. And this is the one that ties it all together. Your body communicates continuously. When we learn to decipher its messages and address root causes, rather than masking symptoms with Band-Aid solutions, everything changes. because we can use how the body is presenting to give us clues and understanding of what the most important underlying root causes are and how to address them for each person. Can you feel a shift in energy around that? Put a 1 in the comments if you feel it and you like it. Because what that means is that when we see our allergic reactions, we don't see them as bad anymore. Right? Quote unquote bad. We see our signs and symptoms as a way that the body is communicating with us. We see that the body is putting up a flag that something is out of alignment, that we need to shift something. When we see our signs and symptoms as clues, beneficial and helpful on our journey, we no longer resist them. We enter a state of acceptance, of flow, of love, and we enter in union with our body as our ally. We no longer shun our body or see the signs and symptoms as bad. We understand that it is all good. In some ways, it is protecting us, and it is here for us. There is a level of consciousness and awareness that we bring when we start really paying attention to our body and what it's communicating. And we allow this to guide us in our decisions. Ultimately, our body is the gold standard when making health decisions. Like we mentioned earlier, an oral food challenge is the gold standard. We're going to go over some decoding techniques in a minute, but I really want to emphasize this. Our body's responses to whatever we try, our food that we trial, a supplement, etc., that is the gold standard. That is how our body communicates with us, and we need to learn to listen to it. That's why when I work with clients, I partner with them on their health journey. I make recommendations based on evidence-based practice, which looks at the research, my experiences and knowledge, training, and the experiences that I've had working with clients, and the client's experiences. Each client is their own ultimate judge. You are your own ultimate judge, and you make the final decision to only do what feels in alignment with you. This is one of the biggest differentiating factors compared to working with other practitioners who just tell you a list of supplements or medications to take and send you on your way without checking in with how that feels for you and working with you to create a plan that's in alignment with you. We tap into your body's innate wisdom to access exactly what is in the highest and greatest good for us in any moment using divine muscle testing, which is, I mentioned earlier, an advanced form of kinesiology testing, and learning the signs and symptoms that the body gives us. So we use the divine muscle testing, we use intuitive eating, there are at-home tests that I coach and guide you through. Sometimes we get lab work. And again, if you are working with an allergist, we use those results from the skin and blood testing for information. Or even if you did go ahead and get the food intolerance testing done, we use that as well. This is all made to empower you. This is the root cause of anything that you've tried in the past that hasn't worked for you. It may not be that whatever food it was or supplement, it may not be that it was quote unquote bad. It just wasn't in alignment with you, with your body and where you are on your health journey. How powerful would it be to access this knowledge from within your body? How much would that change your food allergy experience? How much ease and joy would that bring to your life? How much would that free up of your precious resources of time, money, and energy? How would you be able to connect with your partner differently, with your child differently, with family and friends differently? How empowered would you feel? Put series in the comments if this is an area that you realize you've been out of alignment with on your food allergy journey so far. Again, I'll give you the full masterclass series for free with all of the bonuses and the special video that's just on decoding the body. And if you're ready to discover the power of decoding your body and address the root causes of your signs and symptoms, click below, get the full special right now that's a full month of support at 89% off the regular price. You get a full consultation, one-on-one, an assessment and evaluation. You get troubleshooting, questions and answers. You get community coaching. This is what creates the transformation. When you have the support and guidance and you have someone holding your hand through the process. So as we've gone through this whole protocol, some of you may feel overwhelmed. It's a lot, I get it. And I want you to know that with my system and guidance, we integrate this all beautifully and easily. In every session, we touch on multiple, if not all of these pillars. And I guide you through a beautiful process of connecting the dots between the physical, the mental, the emotional, and beyond. So take a moment to consider what's been missing on your journey. Is there a certain pillar that comes to mind? And how amazing would it be to have all of these pillars working together for you and your highest health and wellness potential? How would that change your health experience? How would that change your food allergy and intolerance journey? How much ease and joy would that bring to your life? How much would that change your relationship with your kids, your partner, your family members, friends? How would it impact social situations and interactions? How would it impact your business, your career, your parenting, your finances? How much would it free up your precious resources of time, money, and energy? How empowered would you feel? Because it doesn't matter what elimination diets you've tried, or the supplements that you've tried, or even the energy work that you've tried. If it's not in alignment with your body and where you are in your journey, you won't see results. And if you don't address all 6 of these pillars quantumly and integratively in a holistic way, you may see some benefit, but you'll get stuck or you'll dread your experience going through it. Because it's all about alignment and working with the 6 pillars together. It's all connected. It's never just one thing like an elimination diet alone. Because yes, that can decrease the inflammation of having repeated reactions, but there's inflammation and an immune response that we have to heal. We need to heal the gut. We need to regulate the nervous system. We need to free up our life force, working with emotional energetics. We need to align with our spirituality and the divine. So with this, we work with the body as an ally. The body is quantum, it's a universe, and that's how we need to work with it and approach it as well. And that's why you haven't gotten results with other practitioners, like an allergist, because you're only focusing on elimination or taking a supplement or a medication. We need to be addressing all 6 of these pillars that are the underlying root causes. And if this approach resonates with you and you're ready to identify and address the root causes that will create the shift for you on your food allergy and intolerance journey, allow you to heal and resolve symptoms, put radiant in the comments, click below, and get the discounted package with a month of support today. So before we go into frequently asked questions, I want to spend some time on your next steps. Some of you want to take this information and figure it out on your own. Some of you just want to keep working with your allergist, and I'm here to support you no matter what. You're going to get so much benefit from the rest of the masterclass series and resources that I really urge you to sign up for that, because you're going to get action steps and things that you can start implementing today. And some of you want a little extra help. So that's why I have the course on dairy available, on reading labels, right? So if you put course in the comments, that course is specifically for reading labels, learning how to communicate. It is primarily focused on dairy, but no matter what allergen you are removing from your diet, then this will be beneficial for you. And at the same time, you also experience a one-on-one guidance call with me as well. So that's where we start to put the pieces together for you specifically. And I also have a whole YouTube channel with playlists specializing in various topics, especially lots of support for moms, breastfeeding moms, gut health, and more. So you can just search Dr. Beata on YouTube and subscribe and check out those playlists. You can put YouTube in the comments as well, and I'll get you the direct link. I also wrote a book on our experience, Breastfeeding Bliss. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a supportive book that shares our personal journey of food allergies with the breastfeeding component added in. So I highly recommend this for any food allergy individual or family, even if you haven't been breastfeeding, and specifically if you have been breastfeeding. In this book, there are resources, there are guided practices that will transform your experience. And it is on sale on Amazon right now through the end of Food Allergy Awareness Month, through the end of May. And you can also get a signed copy on my website. I also have a food elimination tracker and trial tracker, so you can go ahead and put tracker in the comments and I'll get that for you. And for those who don't want to go through the trial and error and you don't want to make mistakes, you want to get answers and solutions faster, you want to heal and resolve your signs and symptoms, I have a full month of support available that includes a consultation one-on-one, assessment, evaluation. You get resources, you get community coaching, you also get multiple troubleshooting. So you get to email me your questions and I'll respond to you. So even if it is 2 a.m, that's what I needed in that moment. I didn't need to wait 6 weeks, 8 weeks between appointments. I needed multiple checkpoints. And that's what I'm giving to you, the experience that I wish I had going through this. And with all of this, we create your custom protocol. Right now, it's 89% off, and it's only going to be for a limited time. So go ahead and click below, sign up now, or put Radiant in the comments, and I'll get you the direct link. Now, for those who stayed with me to this point and are watching live or through May 2024, which is National Food Allergy Awareness Month and Celiac Disease Awareness Month, I have a special offer for you. I usually have a limited number of discounted consultation packages each month. And because you've been here with me and my heart really goes out to you and your food allergy experience, I know what it's like. I'm going to offer you an extra 10% off to take advantage of this limited time special until May 30th, 2024. For those who registered, you'll get an email with the discount code shortly. And if you haven't registered yet, comment food allergies and I'll get you the registration link. With this full concierge support package, you feel like someone is holding your hand through the whole process. You get your questions answered in real time. You get troubleshooting, Q&As, resources, community, private events, and so much more. What this looks like once you go to the website and enter your information is that right away, when you sign up for that full month of support, you get a confirmation email that has forms for you to fill out and the link to schedule your consult. I spend a good amount of time going over these forms to identify what the root causes are and your history, so you want to be sure to fill these out before scheduling. The consultations are on Zoom and they are private. So throughout the consult, I'll have follow-up questions based on what you filled out, and I'll hold space for you to share your experience. I'll ask questions, etc. And then based on all of this information, we'll come up with a plan together that is effective and feels good to you. Something that's not overwhelming and will give you enough to work through for the month, and will focus on what's most important for you. You'll also get immediate access to the live program. So there you'll get the full protocol, you'll get videos, trainings, and you'll be able to start engaging in the community. And after your consultation, you get access to me via email and that private community. You get access to the resources, an opportunity to connect with others, 2 community coaching sessions a month, Q&As, again, email troubleshooting. You get to ask me any questions that come up. No matter the time, no matter the day, I don't want you staying up all night worrying. I'm here to support you. Know that if you send me a question in your email, I'll be working on it for you. And towards the end of the month, we'll have a check-in and a short follow-up to fine-tune your experience. And what's great about the Radiant Health and Wellness program and protocol is that I like to make health and healing very fun and approachable to every aspect of your life. So the experience that you get when we work together is comprehensive and complete concierge care. It's life coaching included. And it's easy to apply. You get cheat sheets so you don't feel overwhelmed. You get your questions answered in real time, troubleshooting. You get to check in with me so we modify and tweak your experience based on your body's responses. And this is what makes it so powerful and effective. So for those who are ready to address the root causes and transform their food allergy experience from confusion and overwhelm to one of clarity, confidence, and calm, I have this consultation package. It's currently 89% off for a limited time only. You get a full month of support, one-on-one consultation. It's for those who want to get results faster, who want to avoid mistakes, and who want to really learn how to embody and use these pillars of the Radiant Health Protocol. So click below and get the results and healing that you want and the support that you need now. Again, for those of you that are listening live in May 2024, check your emails for a 10% discount. Now, I want to wrap up with a few frequently asked questions about food allergies and intolerances. So one of the first ones that I get is, are food allergies genetic? So yes, they are. There is a genetic predisposition for food allergies, and there's no guarantee that if you are a parent that your child will have food allergies, and at the same time, one child may and the other may not. That is where our unique blueprint comes in. That is where our unique experience, our emotions, our gut health, our nourishment, how was our experience in utero, all of these things come into play. So also I want to mention that through epigenetics, we can influence our genetics. So the activation and the expression of our genes and our DNA can be affected with our lifestyle choices, our diet, our stress levels. So I want to empower you and help you feel this agency that you do have over your genetics. Another question that I often get is, can you have an allergic reaction to any food? Yes, that is a big yes. And not only any food, you can have an allergic reaction to any food derivative. You can have a reaction to proteins, to fats, to carbohydrates, to chemicals. So yes, you can have an allergic reaction to any food, any ingredient, any substance. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is that in some of the names of these food allergies that we went over, so for example, food protein-induced enterocolitis or food protein-induced allergic procticulitis, in the name, or milk soy protein intolerance, in the names, it implies that it's a protein. That is a misnomer. It is not just the proteins that can create a reaction. So you can have a reaction to an oil. And that is something that some allergists don't even know, because they'll say, no, it's impossible. It needs to be a protein. No, that's where I step in and say, from personal experience and experience of my clients, that yes, you can have a reaction to an oil or a food derivative. It does not have to be a protein. So it's important to clear that up as well and to validate the experience that some of you may be having. And can you have a reaction at any time, even to foods that you've had before? The answer again to that is yes. So even if you've had a food 100 times before, you can have a reaction on that 101st time. Now, it depends on the journey and each person's individual story. And when a food allergy just shows up randomly, that's where I look at the greater picture. What was happening in the person's life? Was there some emotional event happening? Was there something energetically happening? What were stress levels like? What was nervous system regulation like? Was there a toxin exposure? Because something set off the immune system to become overreactive. And again, when we work with root causes, we can identify and address that. What are some common triggers? So we talked about the top 14, which includes some unknown ones, but some of the most common ones are milk, soy, eggs, nuts, tree nuts. And again, the top 14 list, you can Google it as well, but I mentioned earlier in the presentation, some of the specialties that I have, gluten is the other one, right? With celiac disease, with corn allergy, those are tricky. Those are trickier than some of the other ones because of the derivatives and the places and cross-contamination and trace amounts. So if that's something that you have and you think that it is maybe too complex, I want you to know that I have personal experience with that, and I can guide you through that journey and creating a plan specific for you as well. Another question that I often get is, do food sensitivity tests work? So we covered this earlier as well, but it's a good time to repeat it, is that no. Food sensitivity and food intolerance tests are highly inaccurate. So they give a lot of false positives and they are not accurate. They can be a tool. So if you'd like to get one, that is great. I don't make my clients get one. We use other methods in decoding your body to start understanding and recognizing what is creating inflammation and irritation in your body and what you're reacting to. And one of the biggest questions that I get is, do you grow out of it? So do you grow out of food allergies or intolerances? So my general answer is no. And then I follow up with, can there be resolution of food allergy reactions and signs and symptoms? And my answer to that is yes. And you may be going, wait, aren't you contradicting yourself? So when I see signs and symptoms go away, and when people stop reacting, stop having allergic reactions to a food that they have previously, one of two things happens. The first is that ideally the root causes were resolved. So whether that was a nourishment root cause, an emotional energetic root cause, where the emotion or the energy was processed and integrated, where the nervous system regulated, where the gut healed enough, whatever it was, the root causes resolved so that the reactions and the signs and the symptoms no longer present. Now, the second thing that happens is that someone may have a certain presentation. So maybe they had eczema a lot as a child, and all of a sudden the eczema goes away. Does that mean that they grew out of that food allergy because the eczema is going away? Sometimes, right? We talk about the root causes being resolved. But when we take a look at the history and the signs and symptoms, the signs and symptoms shift. So if someone had eczema as their main presentation as a baby, maybe as they get into childhood, now they have chronic constipation. Or maybe they had reflux and now they begin having diarrhea. That is just a shift of symptoms. It is not a resolution of a food allergy or intolerance. So I want to make that distinction, because the only way that you can get resolution is by addressing the root causes. You don't spontaneously grow out of it. A root cause was addressed appropriately, one way or another. Sometimes that happens without, spontaneously, we can call it, without us knowingly knowing what was done. But on an energetic level, on an emotional level, nervous system, gut health, nourishment level, that's what happened. So another question that I often get is, what is the difference between food allergies and intolerances? So that we answered in depth at the beginning of the masterclass. So make sure you go back and listen to part 1, because during that portion, we discussed the difference between IgE allergies, non-IgE, and food intolerances. And then we broke that down further into different conditions and presentations as well. So make sure that you watch that part 1 for all of that. And another question I get is, can food allergies be misdiagnosed? And again, the answer is yes. sometimes, especially the ones with GI symptoms, get misdiagnosed as a stomach bug or food poisoning, or they can be downplayed as food sensitivity, which again is a reason why I don't use that name, because when we are talking about this, we need to look at the root causes. And intolerance is more of a digestive issue that, again, is a lack of an enzyme to digest certain food components. So we need to address that. And if it is an IgE or non-IgE allergy, we're working with the immune system. So we have to address that component to it. So those are the questions that I had. Let me know what other questions you have in the comments. And again, put a 1 in the comments if this masterclass was helpful, if you learned something new, if you started connecting some dots in your journey, on your journey, and putting the pieces together of your story and your food allergy and intolerance experience. And again, I want to extend this invitation for those of you who want to work together, who want to get to the root causes, who want to resolve their signs and symptoms and heal. Go ahead and click below, get the full month of support package that's 89% off for a limited time. And I'm here to guide you and support you on your journey fully. And as always, I wish you and your loved ones all the best, and I will see you in the next masterclass videos. Make sure you sign up for the series.